Asalamualaikum, sister. Thank you for writing to our live session. As I understand, you're 23 years old and you're dealing with an intense fear of death, and you obsess towards it, that you state, and you fear it a lot and you don't know why. You also are aware that death is inevitable and it will come in its own time, and only Allah knows. However, your fear is interfering with your daily activities like sleeping, eating, and you're constantly crying and feeling panicky, thinking about dying. You also stated that it started about 2 months ago when you were sick and you went to several hospitals as well as emergency rooms. But every time you went, the physicians there all told you that you were fine and that you did not have any sickness or illness. Sister, what it sounds like is that you have developed possibly panic disorder, and some of the symptoms of panic disorder are just that, right? You know, sometimes people feel like they're choking, like they can't breathe, like they're sick. Sometimes they get dizzy. Sometimes they get tummy pains. And it's just like an overwhelming fear that overcomes people who have panic disorder, and they really can't pinpoint why sometimes, but other times they can pinpoint why. But one of the features of having a panic attack is that you fear you're going to die, right? Because it feels like you're going to die. And actually, obviously you're not. You've had your health checked out and you're very healthy. So at this point, you know, it does sound, although I can't diagnose you, but it does sound like panic disorder. So what I kindly suggest, sister, is that you make an appointment with a mental health specialist in your area for an assessment for possible panic disorder or generalized anxiety disorder. And, you know, be assessed and find out, you know, if that is truly what's going on. And there are treatments for that, right? Panic disorder has a very high rate of success for treatments, and I would kindly suggest, inshallah, that you do it as soon as possible, because it's a horrible feeling to live with, right? Always fearing that you're gonna die, fearing things, not being able to live a normal daily life. And sadly, a lot of people don't get treatment. They live like for years and decades in intense fear. And that's not a very good quality of life, especially when there is, you know, a solution for it, when there is treatment, when there is an easy way to deal with this, right? So please, you know, do reach out to your physician and ask for a referral to a therapist in your area and get assessed and begin treatment. With that said, in the meantime, what you can try are some breathing techniques, some thought techniques, and these would include like mindfulness, right? If you look up online mindfulness breathing for panic disorder or mindfulness breathing for anxiety, you'll find a whole bunch of really, you know, helpful videos and articles on it, right? And what it does is it takes our mind and our focus off of our fears and it puts it on our breathing, right? And when we do our deep breathing or just natural breathing, what we're doing is we're actually like cleansing our system and our minds, for lack of a better explanation. And what it does is it refocuses everything. And it takes concentration, and sometimes it can be hard, especially when you're fearful. But after practice, after you do that for a while and you get used to doing it, research has shown that it's extremely helpful for anxiety and panic. So I would kindly suggest, inshallah, that you do that. Also, when you're feeling like fearful, you feel like you're going to die, just make dua to Allah, right? Or do some dhikr. You know, remembrance of Allah is such a beautiful and healing activity to do, an act of worship. That can also help. And you could also just remind yourself that, you know, no, inshallah, you're not dying. This is panic disorder or anxiety. Inshallah, once you get assessed, you'll know. But you could tell yourself that, right? And don't put a lot of power into it, right? Don't think about it and obsess over it. Divert your mind, right? Because the more power that you give to something, to a thought, the bigger it gets, right? The bigger and more frightening and more overpowering it gets in your mind. So when those thoughts come, the fear comes, like you're going to die, immediately go into another activity. And I would kindly suggest that you make a list of activities that you enjoy, that you like doing, that will get your mind off of the feelings that you're going through when they come, that you can immediately engage in to divert your attention from these feelings to something else. And just let these feelings come and go, right? Picture it as coming in through one ear and going out the other. Just let it filter in and ignore it. Just let it pass. Don't give it a lot of thought, and let it filter back out. And practice your breathing. And know that you're going to be okay. Inshallah, sister, try these tips and techniques. And again, look up some mindfulness and stress reduction and panic techniques on the internet to help you in between and before you get your appointment with a therapist. So we wish you the best, and please know that you're not alone. A lot of people suffer from these feelings, especially around your age. It's kind of common to either develop a fear of death or develop anxiety or panic around the late teens, early 20s. But it can go away, or it can be treated. But I highly suggest, inshallah, that you do seek treatment. That way, it'll be addressed sooner, and you won't take the chance of it becoming a long-term thing. We wish you the best.